okay, you removed a problem, but one that you created. That's the way it felt like. It felt like the problem was created by the game itself and not necessarily out of some necessity that people were asking for. I want everyone to have their listening ears and thinking caps on. Listening ears and thinking caps on. Welcome, adventurers, to a brand new ShawnSetGO video. Today we're going to be talking mostly about two specific topics within AFK Journey, but mainly kind of a temperature check within the space. Right now, at least with AFK Journey, a lot of changes are upcoming, but a lot of people have been more and more reporting some of these negative features. Topics like, why am I still playing, or why are you still playing? And these rewards or these game modes don't have reward systems that make me feel like playing. But we seemingly seem to push up against these topics, really hit the nail on the head with them, and then almost just regress back into these points where it seems like we go back into a state of like, I guess it's okay. And I think the reason is largely a lot of these like the sunk cost fallacy group members, and a lot of the tribalism, which I will talk about in another video. But beyond that, I want to talk about something that I think is plaguing the game right now, that I think would be a vast improvement if we could at least improve this moving forward. I think it's something that is still fixable. We're not complete doomers here. There is something that we can do to at least address these things. And so the first one I want to talk about is, it's right here in the season optimization section of the patch notes. So I'm gonna bring it up here for just a moment. I think I have to bring it up here. Yeah, you can't show it on game capture. So here it says, as previously announced, we will balance the XP and essence rewards from AFK stages. We're also working on several optimizations to minimize the resonance gap. This will help everyone enjoy, blah, blah, blah. It also says that we are going to basically be receiving rewards based on our progression within AFK stages for the season. So for those of you who don't know, initially in the game, there are some AFK stages that you can clear, but as you cross through the season, there are additional stages which you need to clear. They've been trying to make as much as possible. I don't want to say to make miserable, but they have been trying to make this where the game at least feels like you can still make progress and not feel drastically be behind the whales. They want everyone to feel like they too can also participate. But the issue with that is that it doesn't address the crux of the issue. Why is this not why is this not addressing the crux of the issue? You might be asking. I feel like right now with AFK stages, there is just a series of dampening of rewards that's kind of gone, that it's extended further into other like parts of the game that actually people enjoy. I think for me, at least, the first, was it 1100, 1200 stages? To me, I was more actively playing those stages than I had in the season. Once the season had started, to be honest, I don't think I actively played more than one or two AFK stages. And the only reason I did is because there would be these roadblocks that would say basically you have to reach this stage in order to progress further in the story. And because of that, it got to a point where I didn't feel like making progress in these stages outside of that, because it just became this enormous burden to where stages were taking, out of the 85 seconds I'd be doing them, it would take almost the entire time. It just became increasingly time consuming to where I was just hitting auto and then leaving the room, to where now that we have the auto progress, it's just like, okay, you removed a problem, but one that you created. That's the way it felt like. It felt like the problem was created by the game itself and not necessarily out of some necessity that people were asking for. I honestly don't feel like people were asking for AFK stages to be on auto progress. The fact is, AFK stages aren't fun nor rewarding anymore. It used to be that I felt like I could put a decent amount of strategy to get past AFK stages, but it got to a point where enemies had either too much health or I simply wasn't dealing enough damage at all to make any difference. Like there was these clear moments where it'd be like a level 5 or like a level 10 stage right around there that you just couldn't pass. It was just nearly impossible. But once you increase your character's resonance level up 10, it's like all of a sudden it's doable, and you can make progress. Now I'm at this stage where that's not as much the case. I can make decent progress, but it took me a while before that was the actual case. And so I think that AFK stages being this rewarded system now that they're going to reward players who have made massive amounts of progress when the entire season has been spent taking the highest ranking players and going, hey, you can't make as fast a progress because there's too much of a gap between you and other players, is kind of antithetical to the point. So you've either been pushing up against a wall like most players, or you're not making enough progress to really have hit these walls in the first place. And so rewarding based off of this just seems like it's like we're going to make this as hard as possible on you to extend the amount of time that you're playing, but we're going to reward you for being frustrated and pushing up against this wall, because a lot of people just gave up on these. They truly just gave up on these. And so when I talk about AFK stages and I talk about further into game modes, such as for me at least, I mean the Dream Realm is one of the most important like points in the game. I'm glad that they're adding more rewards for people who are outside of these like top 100 rankings. That's good. That's great. But my problem with Dream Realm was never the reward system to begin with. It was the fact that crossing through these became misery inducing to where I'm getting 50% 1 week, and then a couple weeks later 70%, and then 90%, and then oh, I got through a first clear, and then I'm back at 10%. It just felt like I'm just pushing against a wall, to where it's not enjoyable. I'm not being rewarded to make it feel like casual is fun enough, and then I'm being judged by the community for making this my main game. But in reality, this game demands so much of your time and attention. So I'm going to disagree with people like Vulcan, with people like Barry's Gaming, who I do respect in this space for what they do, but I disagree with what they've been saying. I think it was mainly Vulcan was this point. I don't want to steal exactly from say Barry as well, but I know that Vulcan was saying that basically in the game modes that he enjoys playing, he feels like that he is able to play them to a stage where he's able to play them casually. He doesn't have to invest a ton of time. In the modes where he cannot do that, he doesn't feel like playing, and he feels like he doesn't have to. I do agree that you don't have to play every mode in this game. You can truly just clear your weeklies, and you don't have to do more. However, to get to a point where you feel like you're making positive progress in a game, the game requires so much of your time in order to make that progress. And so I don't think that somebody playing this game more than an hour or so should mean that they're just main gaming it and they're deficit pushing, and that they're creating their own misery by playing AFK Journey less AFK than others. So for me, for example, this is my first week that I've crossed into the champion. I really have not made active progress in arena, just because I hit so many walls whenever I try to make progress. Now, I won my first 5 champion games. I know how to discern which players are worth playing against, but my problem is that the systems for these are so broken in that they don't reward you properly, nor do they put you against players that make sense. Same thing with Supreme Arena. I am constantly versing people who are in stages of the game where I'm versing people who are level 350, 370, but I don't know where the levels go right now. Like, I haven't played Supreme Arena in a bit, but right now it feels like they are massively level hiked above my level to where it doesn't make any sense. And so I'm at a stage to where I feel like right now a lot of the game modes are just made to, they're created to extend the time in which you play them. But because of this, a lot of the game modes have become increasingly stale. So many of the modes really lack any features to make the game feel rewarding and fun to do. And now I'm not saying that doing dailies has to be a blast every time you do them. It does need to feel like every week that I've at least, it's been worthwhile to log in. A lot of games that I've stopped logging in regularly into that are gacha games are because it doesn't feel like doing so makes a difference. I feel like I could jump into it a month later, say when a character is released or content is released, and I would get just as much enjoyment as I did if I daily logged in. I know a lot of people will see that and go, well, that's just lazy of you. You're not putting in enough effort. It's like, but isn't that actively against what you're saying when you say like you play this game casually? I don't have the mechanical part in my brain where I feel like I need to add this to my routine if I'm not making active progress or enjoying what's happening in the game. So I was going to talk about a bit about guilds, and that like what guilds should do. I don't want to go too long on this. I could make a whole video talking about guilds, but the main thing that I want to say about a game like AFK Journey, this can extend to other gachas as well, is that leaderboards are meaningless if the only thing you're getting from it is a number. A lot of people like leaderboards for the sake of leaderboards. I'm not saying that doesn't exist, but over time, the meaning of a leaderboard is pointless when it's only part of a greater grand leaderboard to guilds, or this leaderboard it only makes you like gives you a little extra rewards than everybody else, and there's not really meaning to it. There's a lot of meaning to like being like a rank 1 gladiator in WoW, but there's really not a lot of meaning to being a top 100 ranking in this game, unfortunately. And I hate to break it to a lot of people, the reason why they put the servers on these districts to where they're joined together is from lack of activeness, and the fact that a lot of guilds are dying, and that like a lot of them just don't have the participation to be to even exist to where they can actually be a competitive nature to this game. A lot of this game is the fact that if you hop into arena right now, the same people who had arena first when the season started are the same people who have it now. It's changed zero. So right now, this game is at this zero stale movement game where it feels like no progress can be made on a leaderboard, and things aren't broken up enough into rankings. For example, I've talked about this before, but in WoW, whenever you're doing PvP while leveling, there are different brackets from 11 to 19, or 10 to 19, 20 to 29, and so on and so forth. There's no real brackets in this game for that to happen. And so what I've talked about in previous videos is that it needs to be ways to cross those massive gaps within player base, either by merging servers or adding NPC battles as sort of like, here's ways you can make progress in your ranking because a player doesn't exist within your district, within your power level. Because right now it feels like my next available person I can verse is just eons beyond my own. I don't even want to start an arena to even go through it, because right now me clicking challenge in arena is a risk, because I could go through 7 rotations of the items of the players and not find a single player who's even within my own universe of being able to beat. So right now it's a big risk. And so I play Arena and Supreme Arena with a lot of hesitance because right now it feels like nothing really matches my ranking. It always feels like I'm punching up to the next ranking, not by a little, by a lot. And so right now I'm gonna reference Zebo because Zebo talked about this most recently with resetting of ranking. Should we reset the ranks weekly, monthly? Should we reset these to make the leaderboards more effective? I don't think that should be the case. However, I do believe that if you're considering the PvP aspects of a game, I think that if you are being actively challenged, that this should degrade your rank over time. I think that this needs to be where similar to Supreme Arena, but not quite, because the swapping of arena rankings, it's like I guarantee if I verse somebody right now, I'm going to verse somebody who's like 1195. They're going to be a tough challenge. I'm going to win this maybe 2-1, maybe rarely do like a full sweep and win. And I'm only going to get like 5 points. So it's like, it's not even worth it. It's not even worth it for me to try. And then the reward system, I get Twilight Essence, which I don't need right now. So it's like, why actively play in these game modes, which the rankings are almost, they're like stones. They barely move, except for like a really tough wind, you know, they're not moving. And I think what needs to happen is rankings need to be re-stratified entirely. And here's my idea. You can like it, you can hate it, but it's an idea. Similar to the way that WoW arena rankings work, I think ratings need to start basically at 0. Your power of your like the power of your team and like what your power is based on should be based off solely the team that you set. So if you set your main team, you know where it is within your resonating hall. That should be your power level for your arena team. This would make it to where basically players are more closely versing other players who match an arena rating, a record that they have. I could have a higher arena rating because I have better wins or because of RNG of who I versed, but that doesn't get established until I've built a record for myself. That way I'm not versing people who are eons above my level. So that was my thoughts about it, at least with PvP. I know we talked a bit about AFK stages and my thoughts with that. My main thing that I want to establish is that right now there's almost like an improper direction that I think a lot of content creators are heading with how they think that these need to go exactly. And I don't think it's the rewards even. I just think right now AFK stages are just not fun to do. They're lacking in any true versatility. I'd rather have 100 stages that are unique and fun than having 700 stages that make no sense to even do anything other than auto progress. That's my thoughts on it. I did want to mention something, a little bit of an addendum to the end of my previous video where we talked about some of the seasonal updates. There was some missayings, and I'm a big thanks to Barry's Gaming for this. They actually mentioned that the resets to exclusive equipment and tier are to A and S level heroes released in the new season. Guys, this is a problem. I thought this was for all characters, so we could finally fix some characters that we've misleveled. It is not that at all. It is only new season characters. Now, if they're including every character into that new season, because technically it's season 1, like everything pre-season, then I'm okay with it. Then it includes everybody. But I thought because they're changing the all heroes event where you log in daily, all heroes available, they're making it to where all heroes are included there. I thought that you could also switch equipment as well. Wrong. It is actually just the new season characters, and so I don't even think that's going to be good at all because it has to match his tier. I was saying earlier that it needs to be based off a class, not tier. Or if it does, make it class and tier. Because if it right now, like, I don't know. I think if it's tier, then it make it all heroes. But if it's class, it's got to be one or the other. Because to me, S level, A level, right now, I feel like if you make it just the A tier, you're gonna be SOL for S tier because there's just so much. There's so much less comparatively. So I don't know, but that seems like a big miss to me, you guys. I really think it needs to be all heroes. It's not too late. Let's make this all heroes. Let's push to make this all heroes, because right now, like if they make it that way, then basically nothing changes. Basically nothing changes, or barely anything changes for basically people who invested heavily into seasonal heroes. So basically saying if you invest into seasonal heroes, you get payback, and that gyps all the people who saved because they were like, I don't want to waste my resources on trying these out. So basically you're rewarding the people who were able to invest into seasonal characters. That doesn't make any sense at all. So that's all I got to say on this one. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Once again, we stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I will be having surgery, not this Friday, but it's upcoming Friday. So if you don't see me for a bit, that's the reason why. Thank you guys for all the amazing support you've been giving. We recently hit 300 subscribers on YouTube, and we're nearing like 20K views, and like we're like 3/4 of the way to being a monetized channel. So I can't be thankful enough. This video's probably run long, and I apologize. But thank you all for being so supportive and so helpful. And I'm starting to get some support and note from other people that they really like my content, and they really want to see my content. So I'm really excited that I'm getting noticed by like some official people within the space who are like, hey, like, we like your content, please make more. So thank you for even listening to my content. My big motto with this, guys, is, you know, good or bad ideas, they're ideas. And so any ideas you guys want to share in the space, I have a Discord where we share gacha content, gacha news. And right now we're playing a bunch of gachas. So we'd love to have you in the community with our go-getters. And I hope to see you on stream. And if not, I'll catch you in the next one. All right, peace.